I just paused it, I shut the wardrobe, opened it back on. I feel so rich. I am rich. I have. Oh, it almost tears me up. I have all these machines. I'm so blessed, man. Feel blessed beyond words, beyond videos, beyond anything. To express my gratitude, I'm going to devote this place probably down the line, and even bigger places, to the education of the youth. Because, okay, I worked a lot for this, man. A lot since young, and I was just building. But like-minded people, I was also, that's true, but also I was extremely lucky to have a very supportive family who allowed me to do this, okay? They supported me in the way that I was allowed to do it. When I was 10 years old, I got a soldering iron for Santa Claus. We have Santa Claus here on December the 6th. He comes and I got a red soldering iron at 10, and I dropped it off the table and burnt the tent underneath the table. I was alright. And when I was like 12, I got a 52 screwdriver set. It cost like $15, man, or something like that. It was cheap stuff. But look, yellow and red. These are still from that set 13 years ago. My extensive set of screwdrivers. And bro, all I'm saying is that, and yeah, and later on my dad lent me a load of money to develop Iron Rainbow, basically. I inherited some and he also lent me some, which he will get back 100-fold. But that's not important. This is not important here. What is important is that I was privileged, and I still am extremely privileged and will forever be, to have such a supportive family. And not everyone's family can either afford it or is smart enough to realize that it would be good to support it, not just financially, man. Just like supporting kids, as in, I can have engineers come here sometimes and be like, yeah, my parents didn't allow me to take stuff apart. I'm like, bro, that's such a disadvantage. Unfortunately, kids, if you're starting out with engineering when you're 18 or 19 in university, even at I don't know, maybe 14 isn't late when you're at high school. Maybe 18 isn't late. Maybe if you're 30 and you start out, you'll be a great engineer by 40. I've got no reference. I can't say anything about it, but it is a disadvantage. So doing this kind of stuff since you're very young is better than starting later. That's obvious, by the way. Nothing. So I will devote a lot of resources to helping the youth, like a place like this, man. This is full of machines. All 4 buildings here, full of machines, full of parts. Kids could salvage e-waste, take it apart, learn as they take it apart, build new things with the motors. Bullix will obviously control everything. It's like you take out a part, you connect it up to the Bullix module. It tells you what it is. You can test it. You can experiment with it. You can have the software suggest solutions for you that are doable with that component, and it's a good way to teach people, because we'll have to be playing around. Trust me on this one. I mean, it's not that I know the future, but I have a very strong hunch that we won't be working too much, as in work as in it arose from a necessity to preserve resources, I guess. Not just preserve, but also to harness and harvest in the first place. So you reap what you sow. So you have to first sow to reap. But if you don't even need to reap, you don't even need to sow. You can just eat. It might sound bad to you. Like in Hungarian, there's a saying, "Who doesn't work shouldn't eat." And I understand why that came about. Makes perfect sense. Like most sayings, they're I'm not saying they're eternal truths, but they are truths nonetheless, most of the time. And it will no longer be the case that you have to work. Imagine, man, robots mining. It all starts underground or in the mountain or whatever. Robots mining. Robot as in autonomous vehicles or whatever. Machines controlled by bits. So machines mine. Machines transport the mined stuff, the minerals or whatever, ores. Machines transport it. Machines process it. And machines paint it. Yeah, machines shape it. Don't worry about the order here. Machines assemble it. And most likely machines design the machines. So generative design will yield a lot of efficiency to humanity. So we've got this. I'm looking for words, man. First of all, I'm tired, and secondly, I don't know how to. Oh shit! I said I'll be talking in Hungarian if I don't know a word, but I forgot which word it was that I couldn't remember. Anyhow, the whole ez egész lánc, ez a gyártási lánc, vagy megmunkálási lánc, magyarul se igazán tudom, hogy mondjuk. So it will all be automated. No one has to work, and so this process yields combine. That's a word. I couldn't come up with it. That does the reaping for you, and also does the sowing. So, and then you get the produce. It goes to a sorting facility. It's sorted via, I don't know, seeds are sorted with optical pneumatic sorting machine with cameras looking at the seeds that travel with a fixed speed on a conveyor belt, and there's like 160 or 200 or 300 nozzles, and the good seeds get they're let to fall, or they get left on a conveyor assembly, and the bad seeds get blown away to different container, whatever. At the end, you'll have flour that's made by machines or whatever food substance, and then you put that in an auto chef, which will be like my big oven, similar sort of machine from the outside, and you could feed recipes into it, and it will make you a meal. And then you could argue, like, who worked for that? Did the engineers work for that food? Did the earthworms work for your food? Did the sun work for it? It's like, it gets a little distorted. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying we won't have to work. We have to work a little bit to sustain ourselves these days, but in 20 years' time, I'll make sure, no, I can't make sure, but I'll be working on it, so that I'll be working on us not having to work. We don't have to work now either. We can go on it's work. It comes down, exerting energy at the end of the day is work, isn't it? So that we won't have to do shit, basically, which doesn't equate to not doing anything. Not having to do anything is completely different from not doing anything. Work that arises out of necessity is usually different from pleasurable activities. I completely forgot what we were talking about. Honestly, I have no clue. Super tight. Anyhow, same old. I know I've been talking about these things, but this is what if I think, usually I think about stuff like this. When I think about machines and the whys and what motivates me. What motivates me is to shorten the gap between technology and real life, as in real life that we know it, so that when new technology comes in, it can be implemented soon. And there's still a long way to go. It's just for the mind. It's a game for the mind, man. It's for the mind to play around. It's a playground, this world, for the mind to find challenges and solve them and whatnot. Not gonna confuse it with life's purpose. What that is? I don't know. Making babies, getting drunk, getting high. I don't know what the purpose of life is. Conversation isn't really bad, is it? It's about what we do with it. Oh, I shit. I tried remembering what I was talking about. If I watched the clip back, I'll know. It was about kids. Yeah. Because people will have to do stuff. Like, what do you do? Imagine this. You graduate. Why would you go to university? You're interested in a subject. Right now, a lot of people go to university because they need they need a way to make more money than they could if they didn't go. So, let's suppose you go to university to study something you're passionate about. You do that. But from the time you're 18 or whatever, from the time you're born, you're getting money. You'll get resources. You'll get life. You'll have life, just like life energy is here flowing to us. You'll have a wallet and there will be monetary energy flowing to it. That's my vision, at least. And monetary energy that comes from where? Comes from where, man? It comes from underground, okay? It comes from underground. All money comes from underground. And you won't have to work. Imagine you're like 22, finish university, and you're getting like what current standards would be. I don't know, $1,000 to $2,000 a month, whatever, depending on where you live. I don't know. This isn't up to me to decide, or I'll happily take part in, I don't know what it would be, Congress hearings, whatever, when I'm in a position of such, to be part of stuff like this, decision making like this, futuristic, socio-ecological or socio-economic decision making. But it's really not up to me, and it doesn't concern me right now, because it's so versatile, this question, that whatever I answer now, whatever I assume now, is most likely way off. Anyhow, you get $2,000 a month, and then life becomes something different, man. I get shivers. Check it out. As I said this, life becomes something different then. It becomes living instead of staying alive. It becomes living. And you have to do something that keeps you happy. And to a lot of people, like myself, it's creation. It's the composition of components in an interesting way. That's what creation is for me. And I want to share it. And I share it as in, not that I want to persuade people to believe me that this is the right thing to spend your time with. No, man. It's not. There isn't one truth. There isn't one answer of such. But to those who already think this is their path, I want to give them not a shortcut, because they will have to put the work in to understand it all and to master it. But I want to give them an opportunity to freely enjoy it without having to figure out how to get the machines. Right now we're thinking we need a spray booth, we need to paint, we need to build here. And if there was a place like this here already, somebody's place, I'd be like, bruh, can we code a few chairs so that we have a few, and then we sell a few, and then we'll have money, and then whatever, you'll get a share, whatever. I mean, I could still do it if I wanted to. I could do this. Maybe I should. I don't know. I like talking to the camera because it gets me thinking. You need to think fast when you're vlogging. You can't really have a lot of empty space if you're doing vlogs like me, that you don't really edit them. It's raw. It's like freestyling. You need to think on the spot. Anyhow, I want to give kids an opportunity to just come to a place and be like, man, so there's gazillion ways of connecting components, and it's all laid out here like browsing a catalog, but you can experiment with it, you can fiddle around with it, you can get a feel for it, of how strong something is, what it sounds like, what it feels like, how corrosion resistant it is, stuff like that. You need to experiment to understand. And in my case, I did it by collecting a load of stuff. And yeah, to those kids who got the passion and got the support from their family to be allowed to do shit like this, then man, go for it. But for those who don't, I want to give them like a safe space, a safe technological. It will also be spiritual, but how can we teach spirituality while still alive? Like, that's a good question, isn't it? How how do we dare to say we know anything about the spirit while we're still alive? It's interesting to me. So, as a topic for maybe another life. No, I'm just joking. But definitely another video. But technologically, man, this is pretty exact. It's pretty quantifiable. Something either is that way or it isn't. And it's easy to teach that, because there could be questions, there will be questions, but the questions can be answered definitively and at least right. Whereas in spirituality, questions can be walked around, they can be answered, but it will most likely always be an assumption and should be treated as one. Whereas a screw's pitch isn't really an assumption. Kids, so fucking happy. Honestly, I'm walking around here talking about how I can contribute and give back all the blessings that I received. It's just, honestly, it tears me up. So I'm gonna put the camera down, put a podcast on, put my belt on. Fucking love it, man. Studied a lot, I worked a lot to be able to buy tools like this, but thankfully I now can. So I will use them with a smile on my face, with a huge smile on my face. I mean, come on, man. I think about it often. Does life get any better than this? Like, check it out. Probably. I don't know. I think to myself, why am I still in a workshop? Why am I still wearing dirty clothes? Why am I still living in a little house-like structure without a kitchen and a shower? Why do I do it? Why? What makes me do it? And I think it has to be love, because or stupidity. Because I think, man, okay, so reality is our past thoughts becoming visible, manifesting, whatever you want to call it. It's our past desires coming alive right in front of our eyes. And I'm like, man, I asked for this, I've been yearning for this when I was younger, and I still am, for different types of machines and all that. So whenever you're faced with a situation in life that makes you question whether it's the right place to be or the right activity to be engaged in, just think back and try to find what not what made you ask for that, but the time when you did ask for it. But first you have to figure out what is asking. How is asking hard? Is it like, I want this? No, not really. Not really. And I did. What's that? You just said that you're not going to talk about spiritual shit. No, I'm not. I didn't say that. I said that I'm not going to necessarily teach it to kids. But as soon as I will be teaching the engineering, because I still got a lot to learn. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I still got a lot to learn in engineering too, but whatever. Yeah, so whenever I think about that, I come to realize, and more like I remember, that I wanted a workshop, I wanted to live in my workshop, I wanted to have nice tools. And now I've got them and I can use them now. So there's no point in. This might not come across right. I just realized that this might not make sense to you, but just so you understand, in my mind, there's often this contradiction of, do I want this? Do I want to be dirty? Do I want to wear clothes like this? Because when I was younger, when I was a teenager, there was no fucking question in my mind. I was like, yes, bro, I will step outside of my Ferrari wearing dirty ass clothes that I used to work in as a teenager. And these days I'm questioning whether is it really that is that really what I want? Shouldn't I be wearing silk? Soft, nice smelling materials? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes to both. Because luckily life is not a split second, so it's not binary, it's either this or that. Because different times allow for different wear, for different mindsets, for different styles, for different locations to live. Anyways, what the fuck am I talking about? All I'm saying is that even if you think you don't want what you're experiencing, think again. I'm not saying that you'll come to the realization that, in all honesty, I do want it. Maybe, but at least try to find when you wanted it. And this is shit, I never wanted it. Like, okay. So when was this shit before? How much attention were you paying to shit feelings? Were you tipping as well? Maybe, man. I've been paying a lot of attention to tools. And now I've got a belt on like this. Woo! See, baby.